Good afternoon, friends. Myself, Sanjay Kaul, a John Maxwell certified trainer, speaker, and a coach. Today's session is a new speaker, new expert, and let's switch this off. And very, very special guest, a very, very lively expert, high energy uh, person. And while we are waiting for people to join in, thank you for those who have joined in. You can just put me a hi, hello. Okay. So, myself, Sanjay Kaul, a John Maxwell certified trainer, teacher, speaker, and a coach. I'm a business mentor, and my specialization is in small and medium enterprises. I help them grow, break the barrier towards the growth. On the human element, I work on the potential of the people. We all have unlimited potential. And trust me, what the data says, we are not even 7 to 8% of our real potential. And that's what is very important. My company is Oslas Consulting, which I formed 5 years back after spending almost 3 decades in IT industry. And it was my hidden passion, and which was groomed by Dr. Maxwell. And now I am a full-time trainer, speaker, and a coach. During this lockdown time, we were just, my friends and colleagues, we were just talking about how we have to be positive, how we have to keep the people around us positive, in good shape. And there came a discussion, why don't we take it out? Why should we contain this discussion within ourselves? So this idea of LIVEWIRE came in. So I connected with my dear friends who are experts in their own terms, in their own industries, doing fairly well, and are very, very responsible leaders, because a lot of people depend on their guidance, coaching, and direction. The difference here in my show is not only I am bringing you the live wire experts from respective industries, but also here in this live show, you as a viewer has a chance to come online on the screen with me and ask the respective speaker the question you may have here live on the stage, on the show itself. Yes, of course, we have the comment section in your Facebook. The moment you put any question on the Facebook, we can pull in your questions here also, which definitely the speaker would address to. Okay, now back to our business, the show. Let's start. I respect the people who have come on time. Let's start our show. This is Oslas Consulting. Welcome to LiveWire today, and my today's guest is Dr. Saumya. Dr. Saumya is based out of Mumbai, and she is an MBA and has a dual specialization in marketing and international trade. She has recently completed her PhD also, and that is in analysis of functions, efficiency, and profitability. Wow, that's huge. That's very huge. And I'm sure you people would love to know more about her, what she does, what actually she has done, right? I'm sure you will love to know more. She currently in her work position is handling the luxury products. Yes, the luxury products. And in current times, I am very, very keen to know from her in this lockdown situation, her being in luxury brands and in international marketing. And I feel I need to learn a lot of things from her. And that is where the discussion started. I, me, for a person, I am in Delhi handling a local business here in and around India. Yes, I do have some international customers, but in learning and this thing online was there on for last 5 years I have been doing. It will be interesting for me to learn how they are managing, because I'm sure in today's time luxury is the last thing. Dr. Soumya is also leading her human resource strategic function in an organization, and she acts as a strategic partner. This is what I love about her role. She acts as a strategic business partner between the general people and the upper management, general team, general and upper management. That's huge. And one thing, when I was having a conversation with her, her one liner, which actually struck me, and she said, consistency. In her talk, she always talks about consistency, which for me, being a specialized person in a leadership skill development, is really a big word. It means a lot at leadership level. So, without further ado, let me bring in today's live wire Dr. Soumya. Hello, Dr. Saumya. Welcome to my show, Live Wire.
New way of saying namaste. I think because of the
New
social
way.
distancing.
Namaste.
Namaste. So,
Namaste.
hey, you all beautiful people. I hope you are enjoying life in obviously a very clustered environment. But nevertheless, this is the new us and this is the new, face to face us. So,
Yeah.
over to you,
Yeah.
Mr. Sanjay, for
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
thank you for a wonderful introduction. I was backstage and I was like, wow, that's good. Thank you so much.
So
Thank
I
you so much.
gave a little bit. I did not want to introduce you beyond certain things. That's what I do. I gave a little bit what I know personally in day-to-day life.
Correct.
Correct. And when I see your profile, especially on the LinkedIn, where you are there predominantly there, I see you a lot of followers and
Yes,
friends
yes,
there.
yes,
And when
yes.
I see a lot of degrees. I was actually blown away with your what all studies you had
Thank
done.
you. Thank you.
And today in the show, I will love you to tell us more about yourself, your studies, how it has been helping you in till now. We'll have more talks. Over to you.
Certainly. Certainly. So let's start from the very beginning, as they say in the song, all right? So, well, my do re mi is that I come from a very small town known as Jabalpur in Madhya Pradesh. And from there, I passed out my 12th and my graduation in BSc. Was that, but it was always an ambition that I was very much, intrigued, enamored, and fascinated with the world of Silanja Motwani in Naina Lal Kidwais of the world. So I was very young at that point of time, and I used to, we used to have this business today which used to come to our place. So in my eighth standard, I had scribbled there that I want to do an MBA. Back in those in 86, 87, the world was still warming up, and the small town was still very used to girls being a doctor and boys being an engineer. So I think
Mhm.
I started breaking the glass ceiling pretty early on in life, and
Oh
I was
wow.
I was always there, a rebel with a cause, not without a
Mhm.
cause.
Mhm.
So that's how it started. The thing that worked to my advantage was that my parents were both, highly educated. My mother, from her time, was a science graduate
Mhm.
and she was in a university topper, and my father is a PhD. So
Wow.
then when I did my MBA, after that, it so happened I underwent a personal tragedy in life, and there was this time lag when you really need to, divert your mind to something more constructive, something more
Mhm.
positive in life, and that is something that I always believe in. So,
Mhm.
during that time, I just sat, gave an online exam, I cleared, and my father said, if you've cleared your PhD entrance, why don't you just go for it? I
Of
said,
course.
what's the corporate life? How am I going to manage it? He said, beta, if I could do it, beat me in my game. So,
Oh wow.
kind of a motivation coming from a father, and believe me, he was 72 at that point of time when I did my PhD, but he did travel all the way to this remote location in Churu in Rajasthan, where I completed my PhD. And uh, you know uh, just bringing the long story short, it just worked to my advantage. Now, I was
Mhm,
also into teaching since 2010, affiliated to various B schools. And
mhm,
somehow this kind of amalgamated, this was a passion, teaching, interacting with people, sharing, and me being a personally, I'm a knowledge sponge. So this
mhm,
also, created that beautiful mix of, trying to learn and trying to evaluate and trying to find my own little standing in this world.
mhm,
From there, the corporate journey also started parallelly, and it's now 20 years, 20 more than 20 years that I've been engaged in the corporate world,
mhm.
rose through various rugs, and today I am handling a workforce of 3,000 plus. Um,
Wow,
you
that's
know,
great.
and and the best part is that I'm blessed to have a very open-minded management, even though it's a family-run operation.
Okay.
So they're very, very progressive in their thought process, and not many people from the family are directly involved in the business. So that's another
Mhm.
refreshing change of what you would usually see in the luxury business.
True.
Luxury actually is always something that we as women are very passionate about, and this
Mhm,
jewelry. So, somehow this kind of intrigued me, that, how does this business run? And
true.
like any parents, my parents were saying, "सुनारों के साथ बैठ के ठक ठक क्या करेगी? ना you learn so much in life." And I was like, "No, mom, but there is lot more than what you and me can even fathom." You know.
Yeah.
So I have learned business in the most trickiest
Mhm.
situation, how to handle it, and I owe it all to them. So that's
Awesome.
my journey with my corporate, my personal, and a little bit of my educational,
Mhm. So when
whatever.
we spoke, and whenever I have been talking to you, whenever from quite some time now,
Yes,
and I really love the way when you talk to people and you talk to your team, you always stress on the word consistency.
correct, correct.
So
So
why you use that word?
For me, I always believe in one thing, that
Mhm,
any person can give a good performance today and may not be giving a very good performance, because it's all dependent on the environment, your mood at that point of time, your personal, whatever you've had, in the recent past, and whatever has affected you. Sometimes even on news, or sometimes whatever you see on the road affects you
mhm,
and your performance, and it kind
mhm,
of just rattles you up psychologically.
mhm,
One thing that I have noticed is people who are successful have always given a consistent performance despite and in spite of all the personal traumas and challenges that they have seen.
mhm,
And I have also found one thing, that if you are consistent in your efforts, now not only
mhm,
in performance, but also in your efforts, if you're consistent in your efforts, if you're
mhm.
consistent in your, in your passion towards delivering a certain thing, the outcome is just another resultant. All right.
Awesome.
Whether it's a positive outcome or whether it is not a positive outcome, it's
Yeah, yeah.
just a resultant. But that consistency will give you a latch on, a hold on to how you would progress further. And
True.
it is also something that shapes your personality, and the way that you would actually have framed your outlook towards life. So that is why that consistency is very important to me.
Mhm. That's amazing. And anything about the word luxury? How will you
Oh,
define luxury?
I would say that in today's world, a
Mhm.
luxury business, doing or being in a luxury business itself is a luxury, because here people
Okay.
are all talking about survival. And
Mhm,
in today's world, where that's the last thing that you would want to address. Who
mhm,
would want to
mhm,
go and buy jewelry or a Gucci bag or an Armani suit? Where
mhm.
you are just cooped up in your house and you're very good in your jockeys. So, so what I would say is that I would define luxury more as a symbol of what you can flaunt your success as. All
Okay.
right. So it is more of you creating your own brand and the way that you carry. Now, if I'm wearing, say, just another dress, and if
Mm-hmm.
I wear a Burberry dress, the way that I walk will change, even though me as
Okay.
Saumya remains the same. So luxury infuses another kind of a confidence in you, another kind of a success factor, and the world sees you very differently. The perception of the world changes, even though you don't change as a person, but the
Mhm.
perception definitely changes.
So, should we say that luxury, yes, it brings in the confidence, it brings in, I personally believe, when we go to the office, we have a different attire because that brings in the confidence level. We go to the
Absolutely.
parties, the way we dress up, it changes the mood,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
if I say that, is this about the experiences?
Absolutely about experiences. That's what I said. It is all to do with, you know, um, like for example, if I can identify people with the perfumes that they wear, so that
Yes.
kind of lingers on. So
Yeah.
that lingering thing is actually the experience that you have. Now coming
Okay.
back to the domain that I am from, which is jewelry. So
Yes.
the whole experience about this is that jewelry is nothing but a vehicle of carrying emotions. All right.
Okay.
So, well, there is someone who wants to process his or her love. How do you do that? All
Mm-hmm.
right. You usually do it with a ring. All right.
Yeah.
When you want to solemnize that
Yeah.
relationship,
Mm-hmm.
we do
Mm-hmm.
it with a ring. And why? In India, we do it with a mangalsutra. And now we
Yeah.
are,
Yeah.
and we now we are encrusting those with diamonds. The reason being that diamonds are eternal. They are
Internal.
from the Mother Earth, so we are pledging our eternal love to each other. So that's the whole experience. And when the
And
guy
it
actually,
lasts longer.
yes,
The value goes higher.
hope so, hope so. That's one turnaround in business that we don't want to say too much.
So, how do you perceive today's market situation in this business?
Well,
The whole uncertainty around the current
yeah.
situation, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. Definitely, it's going to be a tougher time.
Absolutely. See, what used to happen earlier was that buying itself was very impulsive.
Hmm.
People used to enter the mall. Then there was like, you always would walk towards your right hand side, and that's where you would keep all your, the most dearest of items would be displayed right there, and the most newest of articles would be displayed there. So what
Hmm.
happened was that it was more driven on an impulse. All
Hmm.
right. Now, because we have this current situation where malls are all closed out, and luxury being the last of anyone's
Priority. Yeah.
priority
Hmm.
at the moment,
Hmm.
we are looking at this business more from a rational point of view,
Okay.
which is that we're not looking at exponential growth that we had actually built our business
The whole
chart.
engine was
Yes,
easier.
yes, yes. And also the growth charts that we had discussed just few months. Till January, we were discussing about growth. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
everything just came to a standstill, and it was,
Transparent.
there was sudden arrest to everything. So now
Hmm.
what we're seeing is that how do we cope with more of sustaining and surviving the phase? If we sustain and survive the phase, that's
Hmm.
where we see that, then would come the growth, and then would come the business expansion. So at this
Hmm.
moment, we are more looking at survival and
Hmm.
sustaining rather than anything else. The other
Do
thing,
you?
yes,
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry. Go ahead.
no, please go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, do you, as an person who's outside this luxury, and more of my clients are in automation and in manufacturing, we
Yes,
see a shift happening from one country ABC to India.
yes, yes.
How is it? Do you think that anything is there in your industry?
Well, I would like to name those countries. So China. China was the manufacturing pot to the world. All right.
Yeah.
Right from your iPhones, anything that was actually brained out in Silicon Valley was further developed and manufactured in China. All right.
Yes.
So that is how things were happening. It was so happening for us also in the luxury space. So you have
Hmm.
all the JC Penney's and the Walmarts and all those discount stores. Plus you have
Yeah.
the retail chains like Sterling's or the Malabars and all. Everyone used to go to China to get it manufactured. A, because of the labor policies that are
Hmm.
existent there, and second is the ease of labor or ease of doing businesses there.
Hmm.
Now, what has happened and what has changed is that uh, this is this is the VUCA world that we are living in. It's a
Correct.
very volatile, uncertain, ambiguous, and
Mm.
we are looking into every other thing. And of course, the major derivative factor being complex.
Hmm.
So the C in the VUCA is coming out very predominantly. It is becoming very complex. So
All
now,
right.
whatever has happened in China, has it actually diluted its standing? All right. A,
Hmm.
yes. People don't trust China anymore because it was thought that they did not share relevant information at an appropriate time so that this pandemic could have arrested in it or nipped in the bud, if we could
Hmm.
say that.
Hmm. Hmm.
However, what has happened is when you lose trust on some country, you definitely would want to give benefits to the other. So I'm saying India, Vietnam, Malaysia, Bangladesh coming up as the next manufacturing hub. Uh,
Okay.
yes, India will benefit. Yes, we will benefit. It all
Okay.
depends on how the entire
Yes. Yes.
bureaucracy supports that. So
I
I'm
think it.
sure everyone would want that.
Yeah. I think everybody's falling into that side
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
let's go for
Absolutely.
it. Let's not be dependent on China anymore. It's not in
Yes,
India. I see that globally happening, and
happening.
in India, I think we are at the right time at the right place.
Exactly. Now the point is that can we actually take mileage of it? Are we ready to take mileage of it? All
Awesome.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're not
Which
ready,
industry will do you think will get benefited out of this?
IT 100%.
Hmm.
That's something that I'm absolutely very sure about because manufacturing or the service industry would be something that would definitely benefit. In manufacturing, however, it would happen is the ease of setting up of business in India is not that easy.
Hmm.
Even this whole thing about the handcrafted, if I
Hmm.
say, all right,
Yeah.
in IT, robotics are much more easier. All right, you have the AI
Right.
and you have the augmented reality and the machine learning, and all can happen somewhere which is working in an ethereal space. Now, if you have something which is working more on a brick and mortar kind of a model,
Hmm.
there robotics would take some time to come because human intervention would be required. I always draw parallels like a one more painting can't be done by a computer, it can be replicated, but the
Yeah.
original can't happen.
Original can have.
So,
So yeah.
that's where my thoughts are.
Yeah. Yeah. So we are seeing a shift,
Yes,
or we are going to see that shift, that the handcrafted will be moving towards automation, and that's what the China is more,
yes,
um, what do you call that, aggressive globally in the
yes,
automation, and
yes,
that's why the
yes,
manufacturing in bulk is possible, and that
yes,
impacts on the bulk pricing also.
absolutely.
So if we see that shift,
Hmm.
and now we are seeing the lockdown, we still don't know how the local markets will operate.
Yes,
We don't know
yes,
when the offices will open, when the metros will open. We don't know. It is a long. So,
yeah.
what will be the platform you think will emerge, for the whole business?
See, this is a very beautiful question that you've put. Up until now, we were very apprehensive of giving anyone work from home for the
Right.
simple reason that data pilferage can happen, design pilferage can happen. All right.
Hmm. Hmm.
However, necessity is the mother of invention. So, so, so having said that, something very beautiful happens, in all this pandemonium that has created in this
True, true, true.
pandemic situation.
Mm-hmm.
We said, well, if we really want to survive, the designs are the only thing that can make us survive because we are into, the fashion and the luxury business.
Mm-hmm.
So we started giving all our computer aided design softwares and
Mm-hmm.
equipping our people at their homes with all
Okay.
these softwares like Rhinos and Matrix and etc. and etc.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now people are actually sitting in their homes
Homes
doing
and doing
yeah
the same thing.
doing the same thing and they are productive.
So
The
was it that we since we were in a very traditional mode of working, I'll say,
yes.
was it that element of trust in our teams, in our co-workers was missing, or it is the system we had built up and it was
I
a myth we cannot do it?
Sanjay ji, I'm going to make a very bold statement here.
Please go ahead.
See, I don't know whether I should be, but I am. The whole point here being that, see, we are the anomalies of the luxury industry. All right.
Okay.
India and China are the anomalies of the luxury industry. So what we do is we take the whole, the couture collection and bring it, or the press collection and bring it down to the couture, which is,
All right.
we just make everything so commercially available to people.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, when that happens, that you're bringing something very exclusive and something which is dreamlike for people and bringing it down, all right,
Mm-hmm.
and making and creating a mass appeal for it. That is where the whole game was. The game was
True.
was in being in the bulk and not being
Yes.
in that one-off kinds of designs
So
because
will that see the shift? Now we are talking of the bulk. We are
yes,
talking of automation.
yes,
But what we have traditionally seen, the handmade
yes,
was our niche.
yes.
Was in, do you think that handmade diamonds business will get impacted?
Absolutely. It's very much impacted already. Like I'm saying, CAD and CAM designs that I'm talking to you about
True.
is actually, where are those karigars anymore? The
Right.
craftsmen of the South who used to create those temple jewelry sitting there and, creating that molds and everything.
Hmm.
This is a lost,
How would you
art.
put this in your, since I'm sure you will have a lot of karigars and a lot of people right now in your works. You said you have
Yes,
thousands of
yes,
team
yes,
members.
yes.
How do you see in your scenario, the real time?
So what is happening is
And
we
what is
are
the message you give to your team now?
evolve or perish.
Hmm.
That's all we are saying. So there are people who don't want to evolve, and what we are saying is that if you don't evolve and if you don't change with times, then you are risking perishing not only yourself but the entire industry. So the
Hmm.
art will die. Now to salvage the art, there is this beautiful amalgamation of creating something which is handcrafted but assembled through machines.
Hmm.
All right. So you
Uh-huh.
create a design. All right. The artisan creates a design in the real time on
Mhm.
paper, but it is
Mhm.
translated, into computer,
Mhm.
and then immediately it is sent off to the machine, and where the entire thing then gets casted.
So
So
India
the
is likely heading towards the
automation in
processes,
jewelry. Yes, it is.
the more disciplined way of
Yes,
working.
absolutely. We have no choice now. We have
Mhm.
to do that. So,
Mhm.
we are actually moving towards being more relevant, if I can say.
Okay.
You know, in today's scenario, that is what is going to shape the way that the businesses will function.
Mhm. Okay. So I get two words from you. One is resilience and one is relevance.
Resilience, yes,
Okay.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
these will be the two key things
Dominant.
people should know why who are into running businesses, running the shows, and who have a lot of responsibility of the team and team members.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
Fantastic.
So when
So,
I talk, yeah.
yeah, yeah, please, please.
So when I talk about these artisans and when I talk about being relevant, is that that agility to be what the needs of today is,
Mm-hmm.
or what you need to adopt, and
Mm-hmm.
bring the newness in. That
Okay.
is what being relevant is all about.
Okay.
And
So we
uh,
have to adopt to something
yes,
and be
yes,
relevant in our trades and professions, right? So if we
absolutely.
lose our relevance, then we know what's going to hit us.
Yes, absolutely. We will be nowhere, because
And
you no
will
longer
there be
require.
anything? We spoke about the processes. Now we are used to, or I'll say most of the businesses are traditional, especially in your business, the
Hmm.
handcrafted and things like that. And
Yes,
suddenly coming to, I am a person from processes, policies, and documentation, and all those things.
yes,
I know
yes,
what you're
yes.
saying. But for the common viewers, what does it mean? How will it impact the departments and normal,
See, basically, every process needs to be defined and should have an SOP, which means
Mhm.
standard operating procedures for everything that is existing in the organization. I would
Okay.
say even the person stepping inside the organization, right from visitors, coming in, and how your security or your receptionist welcomes them also should be
Mhm.
part of your SOP. More
True.
so, it is so relevant during these pandemic times because
True.
you have to take care of sanitization and you have to take care of uh, just keeping your workforce also safe.
True.
So
That's
SOP.
more important.
Yes, absolutely. And so SOPs for each processes has to
Hmm.
be defined, has
Hmm.
to be documented,
Hmm.
and now this is not just for bookkeeping kind of a thing. It
No.
has to be communicated to people so that people understand, and then relevant training,
Hmm.
identification of gaps between what the processes are and where there is a gap in meeting those processes together,
So some
melding
sort
of
of
the
an
processes. Yes,
reassessment and
yes,
realignment.
yes, always should be done. And it is
Uh-huh.
not that, what more often than not I've seen that people who have made SOPs in the 80s, they are
Mhm.
still carrying it on
Still
even
carrying
today.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I again go back to the relevance point. You
Okay.
know, those SOPs are no longer relevant today. You
I,
need
I
to
I fully
change it.
agree with you. That is what is the challenge when I go to some small and
Yes,
medium companies.
yes,
The Somebody wrote the document in 70s or 80s,
yes,
and few of the documents have been changed, and they continue to be like that
yeah,
without considering
correct.
the our banking system has changed. First thing, completely all business has gone online.
Yes,
Our Every company has moved to online e-commerce.
absolutely.
Our logistics has been taken over by the logistics companies like
Yes,
FedEx and Blue Darts of the world, right?
gee,
uh, the real estate has become maybe 100 times more expensive today. Each office space is into grants and grants per square feet,
absolutely.
right? I have worked with multinational companies, and there we used to get, or we used to give to our teams, okay, this is work from home allowance.
Yes, yes,
And now that work from home has become a ritual, more from the lockdown
yes,
situation. Okay.
absolutely.
And when
So,
we move to this, how do you think it's impacting at home? Work from home is really having an impact at the domestic side
oh,
in the cramped up,
oh, you asked me. So while I'm giving this particular, talk live,
Hmm.
my girls are sitting right there on this table listening to what Mama is saying. All right. And my
Yes.
fur baby is also chilling somewhere at the side. So, so, so the personal life has actually encroached the professional life, and now the professional life has encroached the personal life. Now,
Mhm.
that is where the entire game changes. We
Mhm.
have to learn to be more tolerant. All right. Uh, there would be kids suddenly running to mothers for their attention. Could you solve this problem for me? And suddenly the husband will say, "Oh, ये चाय का क्या हुआ?" So something like this will start happening because you are at home, and this is what is going to be the new normal.
True.
And suddenly the boss will say that what, your report is still not ready.
Mhm. So
This
so if
is
Yeah, so if I ask you something, the typical question in sales we
Yes.
learned, and I'm sure you have done you've done PhD in it, right? So if I ask you some 3S or 4S, something of a strategy at your workplace, how do you apply it?
Simply said, you have to have this kind of a thing as sanitize, which is sanitize your whole environment, all right,
Mm-hmm,
in the true ways of sanitizing it,
mm-hmm,
which is evaluating each and everything. Then
mm-hmm.
we would say that security, security of the work, all right,
Sanitize, security. Okay.
security of the work, security of the business,
Mm-hmm,
security of the job, all
mm-hmm,
right, and
mm-hmm,
security of the capital. Very important.
mm-hmm,
The third would be stability. Now, in this particular scenario, I've seen when the professional and the personal lives are getting, intertwined with each other, people are getting, and then these constant news of pay cuts, jobs going,
mm-hmm,
somewhere people are getting destabilized in their thoughts. You know,
mm-hmm,
what if this comes to me? So that
mm-hmm.
stability of thoughts and that stability and security that we need to provide to the workforce is very important. And last but not the least is sanity. You need to keep this where it belongs.
Important.
All right, very
Okay.
important. Don't get impounded and don't get too impressed and don't get too engrossed and don't get too sucked in into what people are saying. Whatever people are saying may not hold true for you as an individual.
Of course.
Listen to everything, hear
Mm-hmm.
everything, but imbibe what is relevant again to you. Not
That's
everything is for you.
of course. And how about we spoke about the workplace? What are your
Yes.
views about relationships?
My relationships, I would say that, if you read a lot today, I'm saying domestic violence is on the rise.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah. So
In fact, yesterday on my show, I was talking to the panel specialist, and we were also talking about the domestic violence is huge, and mostly the recently paper have said it is coming from the high-rise building. That's more
yes,
is coming from the educated class
yes,
and
yes,
who have actually moved to the work from home environment,
yes.
and we are seeing the surge in domestic violence.
So the reason that I would say that this is happening is that, believe you or not, it is something that, you know I have my husband who is my best friend, but I still need a friend. I
Yeah.
have, so a husband can only be a husband, and a friend can be a friend, and that kind of creates that holistic satiation of the relationship needs that I have. It
Hmm.
cannot be that this can overlap that and that can overlap this.
Hmm.
Now, when I was out there at my workplace, I was in totality a human being which was being satiated at all levels emotionally.
Hmm.
In a cramped up, cooped up place, that is not happening. And we are constantly on each other's faces, on each other's head, and
Yeah.
we are not getting that break from each other. Second, it is very important to connect to the nature. When you are in a high rise and when there are certain kind of, sanctions being put on you that you cannot step down only from
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
hour to this hour, imagine you're feeling like you're being in a house arrest. Who wants it? We as human beings are free spirited. We
Mm.
never ever thought about this. So that kind of also is creating a lot of strain and stress in personal relationships. To
Yeah.
add to it, this work from home thing actually is work from home always. There's no hours that is keeping you bounded. At least I knew that after 5:30, I can breathe and I can have my cup of tea in peace, or I can reach home and pick up a book and read. Here, anytime the phone rings, because छुट्टियां चल रही है ना 50 दिनों से.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know it's something we need to be. And
Yeah.
what about the social responsibility? What about the responsibility? Any 3S, 5S,
Yeah,
ABC?
so I would say that let's take three P's on this. First is
Okay.
the precautions that you need to take, while not only for yourself, for your family, but also for the society
Outside
which you share,
environment.
the outside environment, the community at large. So
Mm-hmm.
there has to be certain amount of precautions that you need to take. For example, I'm seeing a lot many people, despite being it being said that use a mask to go out,
Right.
sanitize yourself, people are still taking that amount of risk, which is not good.
True.
Second is perseverance. All right, perseverance is that you need to hold on. All right, this is not a doomsday. It may
Mm-hmm.
seem so like now, but this is not the end of the world. We've seen so many. We've seen 20 pandemics and two world wars.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing, nothing shook us up. Why should this?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, say 20 years, 200 years, 50 years ago, we were not
Mm-hmm.
even this equipped in terms of
Mm-hmm.
technology, in terms of science progress, having progressed to this degree.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at least you have this. And the last but not the least would be the preservation. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So when
Mm-hmm.
I say preservation, which means that you need to preserve yourself with your sanity, all right,
Mm-hmm.
with your thoughts, all right.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be that like you have an AD and a BC. It shouldn't be like before pandemic, after pandemic, this person has changed.
It's actually going on in like a
Yeah,
meme, you know.
yeah. So preserve yourself. You cannot let things affect you at a grassroots level. Yes, you need
Mm-hmm.
to change to adapt, but you don't need to change as a person.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you
Mm-hmm.
love to laugh and if you love to be your jovial self, please be that because world needs more of you. So
Mm-hmm.
that is what I would say is all about preserving.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing is that you need to then be the contributor factor to the business and to preserve the business at all levels. So that
Okay.
that cushion of yours, because ultimately the business is paying you, it is your bread and butter. If that
Mm-hmm.
collapses, we all collapse as a society. The crime
True.
rate will increase if that thing
True.
happens. So we need to
Mm-hmm.
preserve the business as well. So these are my three P's, if I can say so.
That's really a learning. This was, where I'll say the degrees and the studies matter. So we
Right.
got four S's:
Yes.
sanitize, security, stability,
Stability and
and sanity.
sanity.
Okay,
Sanity.
the four words were four
Yes.
S with sanitize,
Yes.
security, stability, and sanity.
Yes.
And the three P's as a responsibility, we got
Yes.
precaution,
Precaution.
perseverance, and preservations.
Yes.
Perseverance and preservation, right?
Correct. Correct.
And I believe as a trainer and a coach,
Yes.
we don't need an outsider. We don't need any money.
No, 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 no. You're
It's
so
just
right.
only the inward thinking.
Yes, absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
does not need a government to give me some benefit, some money, some scheme or something.
True. True. True.
It,
Absolutely.
it's all within. And then if we follow actually these four S and three Ps,
Yes.
we will not see these domestic violence. We will not see that people with an attitude of chalta hai,
Correct.
which is
Correct.
killing us these days. A lot of people are chalta hai. They have become Facebook doctors and LinkedIn and what do you call that, Twitter doctors.
True. True.
And
True.
every second episodes happen in our country, they get a new doctorate.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's what they're doing,
Absolutely.
and that also I believe is impacting other domestic life. People have started becoming very aggressive because
Yes.
nowadays the social media is impacting the entire thought process.
Exactly. The
And
WhatsApp university is what we call it.
so that's where I think the out of the four S, two S matters a lot. That is stability or sanity.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So I'll just check if somebody has commented anything. Okay, there is something. Okay. Jewelry speaks who you are, isn't? I mean, personality. Yeah.
Yes,
What is your comment on that?
absolutely. Yes, Jaswinder, I so agree with you that jewelry actually is something that is, a reflection of your own personality. And so someone would go in for a very ostentatious, like a Jodha Akbar kind of jewelry, and someone would go in for a very, very dainty piece. So it's
Yeah.
all about the way
Subtle.
that, yes, a very subtle kind of a thing. So it's something that a person would definitely identify with.
Yeah. Yeah. how one enters from an unorganized to organized sector in jewelry, especially about retail setup.
Oh,
Though I'm
very good
scared about it
question.
right now, we are all talking of e-commerce.
Oh, very good question, Rohit. In fact, jewelry itself had its being in a very unorganized way, despite being an assembly and a process which was never documented. So it's a very it's a kind of a conflict of when I'm saying such things. Now, how do you enter from an unorganized to an organized? Is all starts from here. It's the mindset. If the mindset is there and if the mindset is ready for that change, that yes, we want to be corporate, why can't we be like the Cartiers of the world? Then definitely that shift will happen. So you have, Tiffany's and you have the Cartiers and you have Vera Vangs and a lot of, jewelry retail
Yeah.
chains, and you have the Sterlings, of the world or K's of the world, which with 4,000 plus doors. So you have to start with a mindset that this is what you have. You open one shop, but you open that shop with all the processes, with all the discipline, with what the with everything that is relevant for the needs of today's customers, and there you have a winning strategy already in place. So you
Mhm.
keep your shelf, occupied with that kind of retail that would appeal. You keep your processes that follow a system, and you
Exactly.
keep your salespeople educated enough to be your point of contact and your advertisement board. You don't need anything else. It's the behavior and the mindset.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Jaswinder has sent you a thanks for answering her question,
Thanks,
and
Jaswinder. Yeah.
that's really oh, here you see you said mindset, and here we get a comment from Mr. Harish. He is a business mentor, incidentally based out of Bombay also, and he'll be in my show soon.
Thank you so much,
And
Mr. Mehta.
and you see, mindset is also a very important word these days.
Yes,
It's all
yes,
about mindset.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it's about being positive, about being happy, bringing in the people around you, and working. I think it's always more. It starts with you. You have to start working on yourself. Then only you can manage, control, or help others. If you have, then only you will give.
So, like I always say that, let your mind never set, but let the mind always settle on a thought, which
Wow.
means that if you just set your mind, then you are never going to change. You're never going to change to the new. But
Hmm.
if you have a mind that can actually evolve and
Hmm.
can actually, be malleable to the newness, then you have a different way and a different perception at looking at things. So
Okay.
that is very important.
Okay. Any closing statement?
Well, I would just like to say something that whenever we see, like we've repeated it a number of times and a zillions of times, that resilience and relevance are very, very, very important. All right,
Okay.
keep
Hmm.
those two very dear to you. Hold on to that. Latch on to those two words. These are going to be the holy grail of survival in today's world.
Hmm.
All right. I've
Hmm.
always already said this. We have seen enough number of pandemics, enough
Yeah.
number of wars, enough
Hmm.
numbers of revolutions
Hmm.
that have come as challenges to the world, but
Hmm.
we have survived all because human being as a race is a very resilient lot.
True.
All right,
True.
nothing shakes us up. All right. So that is something that I would like to really make a strong statement on. So
Hmm.
please do not let these things, scar your mind ever.
True. 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 Perfectly. Yeah, that's how Jaswiner is also saying is the inner
Yeah,
state.
inner
That's what
state.
carries us. It's
Absolutely.
good. Okay, there's one question. What do you think is
Is
what you
what
become?
you become.
Huh?
Correct.
Yeah,
Absolutely, Mr. Mehta.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So we have great sharing,
Yes.
And any before I put the closing statement for you, or a very closing line for you. So this is my small little. I was going through a lot of you keep on reading and looking here and there for some stuff.
Yes.
So I came across this a small video.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when you speak, I have seen you talking to your team, and when you talk to your people, and you are with something who tries to motivate. And me also, as a coach and a trainer, we always try to do that. And we see two type of people.
Mm-hmm.
We had couple of comments from Mr. Mehta, from Jaswinder. It's all within you, with yourself.
Correct.
You can
Absolutely.
only change if you want to change.
Absolutely.
You can only
Absolutely.
grow if you want to grow. Otherwise, we'll keep on cribbing. I will share this small funny video which just I came across.
Uh-huh.
And as I was talking to you, I don't know how it connected me with you when you speak to your
Okay.
team, your people.
All right.
Let's.
You know I can be found living all alone. You can run around. Oh, please, please, telephone. Don't be cruel. Your heart that's true. Yo, baby, I made you mad. Something I might have said. You took all around. Oh, the future looks bright instead. Don't be cruel. Your heart that's true. I don't want no other love. Baby, it's just you I'm thinking of. You know I can be found standing all alone. You can come around. Oh, please, please, telephone. Don't be cruel. Your heart that's true. I don't want no other love. Baby, it's just you I'm thinking of. Yeah, Ollie. Take it away, Ollie. You know I can be found living all alone. You can come around. Oh, please, please, telephone. Don't be cruel. Do a heart that's true. Do a heart that's true. Yeah, yeah. I said yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
This is what happens when
Thank
we
you
try to
so
motivate people, and we always have two type of people who really want to go yeah, 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 yeah,
much.
and who's always like okay. So this was a small little bit,
That was really nice. Thank you so much.
Okay, your closing statement for the day.
Well, just a little small statement that I would like to say is that for every doomsday, believe you me, there is always a Noah who built his ark. All right. So
Oh,
please build your ark very carefully because this is not a doomsday. And if even if it was, you will have your ark to sail you through.
wow, that was a brilliant statement. I really love that.
Thank you.
It
Thank
was,
you.
Dr. Soumya, it was really, really so nice of you to take your valuable time. I know you have lots and lots of responsibilities, and I believe you're coming with a new project also. You already started it, right?
Yes, yes, we have.
So, all the best for your new project and taking
Thank you
out
so
your very, very important time for us and sharing your thoughts with the people. We wish you all the
much.
best for your current endeavors and the new endeavors.
Thank
Stay
you
safe,
so much.
stay
Thank you
happy,
for giving me an
and we'll be in
opportunity
touch
to
with you
come
more.
here.
If people have to reach you, how will they reach you?
Well, you can share my email ID, which you have, or they can route it through you. The best would be if they route it through you.
Okay, fantastic. No worries. So take care, and it was nice talking to you.
Thank
Namaste.
you. Namaste. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Take care. You too. So, dear friends, that was Dr. Soumya, the live wire for today. And I had great, great learnings. I learned about four S's: sanitize, security, stability, and sanity. I think every word has a deeper value if we listen to it and we think about carefully. And if we talk about our responsibility, we always blame others for things. We want people to change, we want situation to change, but we don't change at our level. If we really have to see the situation changes, everything changes, we need to change. And responsibility, three P's she gave it was amazing. For me, the precaution, perseverance, and preservation, very important, very important. And yes, a good insight into the history also. The world has seen 20 pandemics, two world wars, and we stood by each other every time. And what made us win? That we stood together, that empathy, that patience, that love and care for each other. So stay home, stay safe. I think the things are easing up. We need to be very, very careful. We have to take care of ourselves and our loved ones. Tomorrow, same time, 4 p.m., I will be back with a new expert with new thoughts, new vision, and new learnings. Till then, bye bye.